Greetings, divine netters and netters. It's your netter brother Andre. I woke up this morning and I'm gonna get straight to it. I went to sleep last night first, studying real hard. After I watched the video between Brother Polite and Young Pharaoh. You know, both of those are very intelligent brothers, but I've seen through all the stuff that's going on in the hoopla that a lot of us are being caught up in. First of all, what I want to say is debates are being used as a platform to destroy the awakened community for entertainment. I'm going to repeat that. Debates are being used as a platform to destroy the awakened community, the conscious community, through a means of entertainment. People think this is a game. They think it's a joke. All right? This is not a game. This is not a joke. To watch our brothers, our leaders, those who are going out and acquiring the knowledge and seeking the knowledge and bringing it back to the people, to watch them destroy each other, try to discredit each other, try to defame each other. You know what I mean? There's nothing funny about that. And for some reason, we think that's cool and that's okay for us to keep doing this. That's why we're in the position, in the situation that we are as a mass of people globally now, because we are entertained by the same stuff that the beast is entertained by. Back in the day, in the Roman Colosseums and stuff like that, they watched us kill each other for sport, for entertainment. And now we're doing the same thing. We're killing the divine messages that are being given to us from the ancestors, from the Omniverse, and using a debate where you are supposed to be able to bring knowledge together. One party brings one piece of knowledge or some knowledge that they've gathered together on their side, and the other party brings the knowledge together that they've gathered on their side, and you put that together and you come up with a better and a clearer inner and overstanding of the knowledge all of the facts brought forth. That's what we're supposed to do and build together. But what we're doing is using this to tear each other apart, to discredit each other. When you use anything positive in a negative setting or a negative forum, then you are going to get back negative. You're not the positivity cannot flourish there. That's why it's a difference between the two. And one is called positive and the other is called negative. So getting back to what I'm trying to, the message that I wanted to give y'all this morning, debates don't settle a damn thing. But they are a European way and a tactic used to try and capture and trap that which is natural and free, and then to attempt to dissect it, at least in the form that the European has us using it in. You know, if you sit down and with something long enough, you can dissect anything, especially if you're using the language of the enemy and the tactic of the enemy against it. We can find something wrong with anything if you sit down long enough and dwell on it and focus on it. But that which is pure, which is true, no matter how you dissect it through your European psyche, you know what I'm saying, it's still going to be there. That which is eternal has never been dissected. Remember that. That which is eternal has never been dissected because it can't be. Because if it was dissected, it has to be ended first. Then you dissect it and take it apart. You can't take apart what's natural. You can't take apart what's true. You can't take apart what's divine. You can attempt to. Divine beings don't have to answer to anything. We don't have nothing to prove. So to watch young Pharaoh go back and forth with Polite and them, they tried to clown him and they tried to dress it up as if they was coming in a positive manner and they weren't trying to disrespect him or nothing like that. Yeah, many people do that. They put on the disguise and act like they're your friend. They act like they sheeps, but they really they really wolves in sheep's clothing. You gotta watch that. And I'm not trying to, just to totally discredit the brother Polite. He brings facts. He brings knowledge. But it is what it is. If you are coming at somebody, you are coming at them. If you are with them and alongside of them or trying to aid in building them up so they can get a better message out to our people, then that's what you are doing. And that was not what was going on at all. So Like I said, divine beings, we don't have anything to prove. The answers are right there. And if you agree, then good. If not, then when the time is accurate for you to internalize that knowledge, you will also, or you won't. And that is that simple. Everything isn't for everybody. That's why the divine messages don't come through everybody. The ancestors don't just speak to nor through anybody. The Omniverse doesn't just speak to nor through anybody. You have to be a vessel that is vibrating on a high enough and a positive enough or conducive enough frequency for such divine levels of messages to come through you. And the same goes for internalizing the messages, internalizing the truth. Everyone couldn't pick up on Einstein, for instance. They couldn't pick up on Einstein's vision and level of understanding of space and time and space-time continuum and what he saw. And even when he tried to describe it to the top scientific brains known globally back during his time, they couldn't pick up on it. It wasn't for everybody. Let's take another example. The Bible, for instance. And we know that the Bible is just a book of stories and allegories made up to give a message to those who could decipher it. And we know what allegories are. It's a poem or story written about something with a hidden message inside of it. So the Bible was just a book of stories and allegories. And many of the stories concerning the prophets of the Bible that the Bible uses tells you that these prophets were unaccepted by the general public or by the masses of society who operated under that particular ideology or way of thinking that was consistent to the masses during that time. They were unaccepted by the masses because they had an unconventional way of thinking according to the Bible. They thought in a spiritual terms or a spiritual construct versus a third dimensional construct that those who vibrated on that low frequency just couldn't understand or couldn't understand. They didn't believe Noah when he said it was going to rain. They laughed at him. They didn't believe the stories of Jesus when we know Jesus was a story. Okay, this wasn't true. But according to the Bible, they didn't believe the stories of Jesus when he spoke about the kingdom of his fathers, the Nubians in Kemet, because that's what he was speaking about. That's what the Bible was talking about. That's the allegory, the hidden message in there. When he was talking about the kingdom greater than any kingdom that they knew of in the world at that time. They were talking about the kingdom in Kemet, the Nubians, the Africans, the Alkebalans, okay? So they had no idea of the greatness of the kingdom that he spoke of. Because they, most of you barely even leave your hometown for a vacation for a few days to go visit resort areas. Okay, you barely leave your hometown for that. And when you go to these vacation spots or whatever, you visit resort areas set aside in those locations by the Europeans, all dressed up nice and everything, you know what I mean, to have fun. And then you go back home in your regular vicious cycle of the matrix that the beast keeps us all in. You don't get to experience the culture of that area or location. And you don't get to experience all you get to experience is what the beast has set aside for you to deem and call fun. And you agree with it because you get a couple of days off at your job and get to kick back and relax, from the masses, you know what I mean? And enjoy what the masses deems or calls fun, according to European standards or the matrix that they have set aside. But there's nothing cultural about that. So if you never leave your locale on a quest for real knowledge, if you never leave your locale and seek the truth beyond what you've been confined to and taught, mentally, physically, etherically, how could you know the secrets of the ancestors or any of the secrets that the Omniverse has left behind in different places across the globe? Most of you don't even desire to want to know these things. See the sights. Speak the true ancient native language, or research and learn the culture to learn the secrets and revive the infinite spirit or ether slash energy that was and still is your ancestors. The reason behind that is because just as there is a divine order for all things to be where they are, when they are, and how they are, there is also a divine order by the Omniverse as to who can, should, and will deliver the message concerning these secrets, events, and truths. And who will reveal these secrets, events, and truths is probably one of the most important things, period. Because not everyone can adequately get the message across to the people in a way and in a form that is acceptable for the people or acceptable by the people on all levels to properly internalize it and comprehend it in a manner where they can use it. Everyone can't do that. It's only a select few that can do that. And these are divine messengers, okay? So when you talk about debates, first of all, like I said, they are set up to try to discredit what one person is saying over another's. That is a negative structure, period. When you are trying to discredit what somebody is saying, that is a negative setting. When you are trying to help prove what somebody is saying, that is a positive setting. So if you're trying to discredit what somebody is saying, that is a negative structure, period. And divine energy doesn't flourish in a negative setting. They're going to people who are going to be debating what I'm saying right now. They're going to try to shoot it down because they don't truly understand energy. It cannot be captured. It cannot be tamed. Although some of the information that comes through with that divine message can be repeated, can be recirculated to the people and delivered again, it is never as powerful as it is when it first comes to you because it's divine. And the reason for that is because it was in an untamed form. It wasn't trying to be constricted or delivered within a bracket or within a structure. It just was. The sun, for instance, it just is. The moon, it just is. The stars just are. And the infinite dark energy that created them and created all things, including yourself, the voice and the vibration you hear speaking coming from me right now, just is. You can try to do as much investigating as you would like, but the more information you find out, the more you're going to find out, the more there is to know, because we are infinite beings. We have no beginning. We have no ending. We never die. We are eternal. We just change forms. But with this primitive and third dimensional mind and the constructs that modern day society operates on and that they have given us to interpret, process, and calculate information, we will never be able to fathom the depths of that divinity or the depths of that truth, which we are. Sad fact is that it's already in us. The truth is already in us and already written in our DNA, in our genetic code. And for it to be written in your genetic code, in your third dimensional physical existence, it first has to be written in your etheric genetic code in order for you to draw it from and to pull it from, and then to use it in your third dimensional physical body of existence. It doesn't just pop out of nowhere. It's already there. Or once you ascend to higher levels of vibration and frequency, then you are able to tap into those higher levels of knowing existence and being. Take, for instance, puberty. A young lady doesn't start to grow breasts until her third dimensional body has reached a certain level of vibration within itself. The DNA kicks in and sends divine messages for her to start growing breasts and start releasing that within her, which will cause the changes to her molecular structure, allowing her to start having a menstrual cycle and eventually to be able to bring forth life, etc. The same with a young boy or a man. It isn't until we reach a certain level of frequency within our internal DNA that we begin to grow facial hair. Y'all call it maturing. We begin to grow hair around our pubic areas. We begin to able to be able to produce the sperm that will effectively fertilize the eggs in our chosen goddess woman that will start the process to bring about new life in this third dimensional realm. Those same rules apply mentally and etherically. You have to vibrate on a certain level in order for changes necessary to take place where you can interpret higher levels or frequencies of messages. And they will not come in any other setting. Definitely not come in one that's of a negative setting and environment, as these debates are basically manifesting within the awakened and conscious community. So while most of y'all are being entertained by these debates, by most of our so-called light bearers, truth sharers, and leaders at the forefront of what we call the conscious community or the awakened community of Africans globally, I see this as another way of tearing us down, because we are not using it for positive benefit. We are using it to destroy each other and to discredit each other, and we are commercializing what the ancestors is giving us. The ancestors are giving us, and what is most sacred, and which is the way to deliver us and free us. I heard Polite ask a question last night, whether young Pharaoh, during his conversations with extraterrestrial beings or extraterrestrial entities, did he ask them how to free us? What can we do to get free? Now, I can't answer for young Pharaoh, but what I can say is that the utilization of the divine information that we are being given is how we are supposed to free ourselves. What good is it to get information and then don't use it or don't apply it? You know what I mean? Vibrate higher. Don't just internalize the information. Use it. Each one, teach one. Spread that information. Spread that knowledge. Spread that wisdom. Spread that insight. Spread that truth. Spread that positivity. Our ancestors didn't make it that complicated. They just did it. They didn't try to break down the sciences. They just did it. They just were. They knew these things because they did them naturally, void of any negative setting and construct, versus as to what we are doing today. These debates are turning into soap operas. They are no different than Basketball Wives of Atlanta, R&B Divas of LA, or whatever them other supposed to be live TV shows are, or whatever. And they are being used to psychologically destroy what the ancestors has given to us. They're being used to psychologically supplant an idea that it's okay to tear each other down, be negative towards each other, and to make you think that that's natural. That's natural. That's something we should be doing. It's okay. Don't support these clowns. We have a duty as awakened beings, those of us who are true, to keep what is sacred, sacred, and to defend it to the end. Know what's true, what's natural and organic, and don't allow the constructs of these parasites and devils to tear apart what the ancestors are giving us divinely to free us and to allow us to ascend to the levels where we should properly be in the Omniverse on all levels of being in existence. This is your Netta brother, or God brother Andre. 360 degrees of wholeness, perfection, and power. Peace.